This program proudly brought to you by Home Hardware and the new Holden Cruise all-wheel drive.
Think. Yellow. See. Blue. Imagine.
Yellow.
Feel.
Blue.
Want. Yellow. Need. 10. Seriously.
10's Late News with Tracey Spicer.
Tonight, dismissal of claims British backpacker Peter Falconio faked his own disappearance. Fond memories, not controversies, dominate Prime Minister Howard's meeting with the Pope, and the search for another supermodel about to sweep around Australia. Good evening. The family of missing British backpacker Peter Falconio has dismissed as disgusting claims he faked his disappearance. Northern Territory Police agree, saying they have no evidence to back the allegation made in a London tabloid.
An anonymous letter from the UK suggested Peter Falconio talked about setting up an insurance scam to cash in on a staged death. London's Daily Mail reported similar claims made in an affidavit by a friend and work colleague of the missing British tourist. Mr Falconio was apparently shot by a mystery gunman on the Stewart Highway in the Northern Territory almost a year ago. His girlfriend Joanne Lees managed to escape after being tied up by the gunman. The Falconio family has angrily rejected claims Peter faked his death. Northern Territory Police issued this media statement, which claims there's no evidence to suggest Mr Falconio's disappearance was an insurance scam. Assistant Commissioner John Dolby has concerns about the statement given to the Daily Mail, as it's similar to an anonymous letter received by Territory Police 4 months ago. He's assured Mr Falconio's family that police are continuing to treat the disappearance as a homicide. Lou Hendricks, 10 News.
Controversial issues like stem cells weren't mentioned. Instead, fond memories of Australia became the main topic of conversation when Pope John Paul granted Prime Minister Howard a private audience in the Vatican. Mr Howard says he found the Pope struggling with ill health, but as determined as ever.
It's been 18 years since an Australian Prime Minister was received in the Papal Library at the Vatican. John Paul is no stranger to Australia. He's visited it twice as Pope and once when he was a Cardinal.
And we give you the good wishes of the Australian people. And I know particularly the good wishes of Australian Catholics.
Mr Howard met one-on-one with the Holy Father for 10 minutes. The clearly feeble pontiff struggled to his feet to greet Mrs Howard, but sat while the rest of the official party were introduced. The ravages of Parkinson's disease are all too obvious. One of his aides says the Pope's inability to quickly communicate his thoughts frustrates him.
He's obviously not a well man. I don't think there's any doubt he's fighting a lot of ill health.
During the exchange of gifts, a marquetry of an Australian wildflower in native woods from Mr Howard, the Pope joked about kangaroos and remarked how close to New Zealand we were. In his earlier years, the Pope has been known to raise issues of moral controversy with world leaders. He raised abortion, for example, with President Clinton. But today, with John Howard, it was pleasantries. Stem cell research wasn't mentioned. As Mr Howard left the Vatican, there was a sense that he would be the last Australian Prime Minister to meet this Pope here again. But there was this tribute.
Look, I've always admired the Pope because he's not only a great leader of his own church, but he was a tireless fighter against communism.
At the Vatican, Paul Bongiorno, 10 News.
Aviation experts are hoping to be able to confirm by tomorrow the cause of Germany's tragic mid-air jet collision. The black box flight recorders have been processed and the last of the wreckage is being removed. Cranes and earth-moving equipment being used to load the largest pieces of the planes, which collided on Monday, killing 71 people. Investigators and photographers have documented the scene. Meanwhile, locals have paid tribute to those who lost their lives in the crash, laying wreaths and other tributes as a mark of respect. A new crisis for Afghanistan's fledgling government after the assassination of one of its vice presidents. World leaders have condemned the killing of Public Works Minister Haji Abdul Qadir, and President Hamid Karzai has vowed his killers will be tracked down.
Abdul Qadir was shot through the head as he left his office. His driver also killed as gunmen riddled their vehicle with bullets before it ran out of control and smashed into a brick wall.
This is a terrorist act that has occurred in Kabul, and it has taken the life of a well-known Afghan national figure, a resistance leader who has been involved in Afghan affairs for over 20 years.
Qadir played a leading role in ousting the Taliban last year. He was one of Afghanistan's 3 vice presidents and a minister in the new government trying to rebuild the nation. Amid concern of unrest over the slaying, President Bush says Qadir's death strengthens US resolve to bring stability to the war-torn country.
The administration and our country mourns the loss of a man who desired freedom and stability for the country he loved.
A commission has been set up to investigate the assassination of Qadir, who security officials say had many enemies.
It could be drug lords, it could be long-time rivals, who knows? All we know is a good man is dead, and we mourn his loss.
10 security guards on duty at the time of the killing have been arrested for failing to react properly in the second death of an Afghan leader this year. In the United States, Pam Mackay, 10 News.
Cheryl Curnow is feeling the pressure of her exposed love affair with Gareth Evans. Her lawyers revealing she's suffering considerable embarrassment and emotional distress. But the founder of the Democrats says the affair should have been exposed sooner.
It's the topic everyone is talking about. Democrat defector Cheryl Curnow and her affair with former Labor Foreign Minister Gareth Evans.
Doesn't that make a mockery of the whole idea of keeping the bastards honest when in fact you're in bed with one of them?
I think that the focus on people's sex lives is just puerile and ridiculous, and again is focusing on soap opera rather than issues that affect people's lives.
Ms Curnow has been in hiding since the scandal broke. The promotional tour of her supposed tell-all book shelved. Her lawyers this afternoon issued warnings to the media to stay away or expect legal action. Ms Curnow's reportedly told friends she needs time alone to patch up her life. I don't care much anymore, she says. What more can they do to me? They've taken my job, my family. Debate continues to rage about whether the couple's 5-year affair was key to Ms Curnow moving to the ALP and whether it should have been revealed at all. Party founder Don Chipp says that with the Democrats holding the balance of power in the Senate, the relationship could have interfered with the pair carrying out their public duties.
To have such a close relationship between the leader of that party and a leading member of the government, I think is intolerable and had to be exposed. The only thing I wondered about is why it wasn't exposed at the time.
Well, I just completely disagree with his assessment, obviously. I don't think that focusing on people's sex lives has any relevance to how they perform their public duties.
Senator Bartlett says people should remember the adage, let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
You know, I don't think anybody wants to get stoned, but that's what's going to happen, stoned in terms of rocks being thrown at them.
Leonie Mellor, 10 News.
And still ahead in 10's Late News, one teenager dead, another fighting for life after being hit by a train. Another overnight house fire sees a family escape with little more than their lives. And anger after pictures of thousands who stripped for art turn up on an internet porn site.
This program proudly brought to you by Colin Wheeler from H&R Block, the best people in tax, and the importance of being earnest, now showing.
The stunning season finale of The Guardian is just around the corner, and the lead-up is a ripper.
We're going to be working together. Why are you letting these guys just walk in here and call the shots?
Phelan and Associates has some new blood, and Nick's not happy.
Why is he here? You got to think about the firm.
He's trusting his instincts instead of his father's decision.
There's not a chance in hell I'm handing my client over to you.
And so he should, because this guy's got something wicked in mind.
Why are you here?
All new Guardian, 8:30 Wednesday.
Now available on DVD from World Wrestling Entertainment. Backlash, Triple H The Game, Hardy Boys and Undertaker. Buy your copy for your chance to win tickets to the wrestling event of the year. Global warning. Also available, the best of the World Wrestling 2000. Out now.
Coles Super Specials have red-hot savings. Like savings budget boneless sirloin steak, just $7.99 a kilo, save $7 a kilo. And sorbent toilet tissue 8-pack varieties, only $4.95 each, save $1.68.
Shoot, create, share. With the new HP Pavilion 712 APC featuring the Intel Pentium 4 processor and the HP PSC 950 all-in-one colour printer, there are no limits to your imagination. For more information on HP digital photography products, see your local HP retailer or call 13 23 47.
At Target, we know how hard it is to dress kids. That's why Target's taking 10 to 30% off babies and kids' clothing, underwear, sleepwear and footwear. It's only till Wednesday. So, round up the kids and head for Target.
Great work, mate. Just one thing. I need it to be better.
He won't be in tomorrow.
Great work. Just one thing. Yellow.
Just one thing. Can you make it better? I'm the boss of...
Good morning, Larry. I'll just get your coffee.
I'm the boss of the ceiling, but I'm the boss of...
Now Codral controls your cough, as well as cold and flu symptoms.
The Big Red Ball is getting bigger. Lotto's Monday night draw has jackpotted for $1.5 million. So get your entry in now for Lotto's $1.5 million jackpot.
You're watching 10's Late News. A 14-year-old girl is dead and her teenage friend fighting for her life after a horror train accident in Melbourne's northeast. The girls were on this railway bridge when they were hit around 3:30 this afternoon, the force of the impact throwing them onto a walkway several metres below. Police say the teenagers were earlier seen playing on the tracks. It's believed they tried to make a run for it after the approaching train caught them by surprise. A Melbourne family has been left homeless after a house fire overnight. They escaped with just the clothes on their backs, but firefighters say the family is lucky just to be alive.
Family ties and the clothes on their back is all they have left. A woman, her 2 daughters and infant grandson woken in the middle of the night to find their home filling with smoke and flames.
I went to try and grab some water to put it out, but it was just too late. And it was all up in flames and smoke and just had to get out.
Firefighters helpless to stop the house and contents from going up in smoke. The fire started in one of the bedrooms, the culprit an oil burner containing undiluted eucalyptus oil.
Any oil burner or any candles or anything with a naked flame, they should be only used while you're awake. The occupants of the house were very, very lucky to get out alive.
The rescue of a pet dog and salvaging of a small number of personal items, not enough to dull the heartache.
It's just going to be so hard. I've been a battler, I've had a rough life. I had nothing, now I've really got nothing.
Cameron Bowe, 10 News.
An animal rights group has staged an unusual protest to highlight the plight of farmed pigs. It follows claims of cruelty after a raid on a pig farm in South Australia. Just a warning, some viewers might be upset by some of the following scenes.
They're a quirky curiosity for city shoppers, but today these bronzed pigs were made an example of. Animal liberationists caging the statues to highlight conditions which they say pregnant sows are forced to endure in some piggeries.
They're very, very confined. The stalls are only 0.6 metres wide by 2 metres long. The sows don't even have room to turn around.
The dry sow stalls were exposed when animal liberationists raided one of South Australia's largest pig farms. It's claimed hundreds of pregnant sows are forced to live on barren concrete floors, smaller than those suggested in the industry's code of practice. Liberationists have launched a national campaign to outlaw the stalls.
What we've seen now is other countries such as England and the European Union countries are now phasing out or have already banned these types of intensive dry sow stalls, and so we're calling on state governments around Australia to do likewise.
Melody Horrell, 10 News.
Angry reactions to revelations thousands of Melburnians who stripped naked for art were unknowingly filmed and shown on an American porn video. The crowd braved icy conditions in October last year, bearing all for controversial photographer Spencer Tunick, who's famed for his art house snapshots of mass nudity. But now an X-rated internet site is selling a video called Naked Australian Adventure. It's reported the sleazy video features secretly filmed close-up shots of genitals and also clearly identifies some of the naked participants. The search for a supermodel is on again, and this time it's not just for girls. Guys and even a granny are also vying for fame and fortune.
800 girls and guys took their chance to be discovered, but if you expected to be primped and preened, forget it. This cattle call was minus makeup.
Yeah, but you feel naked without it because you're always used to it.
All shapes and sizes turned up for their 15 minutes of fame. Some were confident, others matter of fact.
I just want to give it a go.
I'm just here to have fun, something different, to enjoy the experience.
I mean, they know what they're looking for, and if it's not me, then it doesn't really matter.
A quick lesson on how to walk, then it was time to strut their stuff.
Very nervous. Very nervous. A little nervous.
Some seemed confident, others overwhelmed, and there's always one village idiot. Or maybe two. While most didn't make it, they took it well.
Doesn't worry me that I didn't get through. I wasn't coming for that, just coming for the experience.
Then there were the lucky ones who got through to the next round.
I'm just excited and, yeah, really happy that I got made through the first cut.
Oh, pretty stoked, actually. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but yeah, really happy.
Pretty good. I'm just happy I got through.
Excited, relieved, not as nervous anymore.
A bit embarrassed, actually. I just hope my sister makes it through.
And there's always one who steals the show. Maria Broesi proving age is no barrier, but she wasn't quite what the judges had in mind. Brisbane auditions are next, followed by other capital cities. Anita Clark, 10 News.
And coming up in 10's Late News, Michael Jackson taking on the giants of the music recording industry. An Australian among several gored during the running of the bulls in Pamplona. And in sports tonight, Melbourne tames the Lions at the Gabba.
When it's live, anything can come out, including Bert Newton's hair. Tuesday, comedian Ali G, music legend Elvis Costello, and Neighbour star Madeline West. Rove Live, 9:30 Tuesday.
She once worshipped the sun. She believed laugh lines were a part of living. Fight damage with new Olay Intensive Restoration Treatment. It helps restore the appearance of time-worn skin with its blend of vitaniacin and the most concentrated pro-retinol available. Zoning in to help fight past damage on forehead, eyes, cheek, mouth, where you need it most. New Olay Total Effects Intensive Restoration Treatment. Love the skin you're in.
With a powerful V6 and over 50 models to choose from, Holden Rodeo. For all your dirty work.
We need your help. My twin brother was CIA. When do we start?
Now. It's a portable thermonuclear weapon.
But does it play DVDs?
Anthony Hopkins, Chris Rock. Do whatever it takes to serve your country.
Hand me a towel.
Bad company.
At Target, we know how hard it is to dress kids. That's why Target's taking 10 to 30% off babies and kids' clothing, underwear, sleepwear and footwear. It's only till Wednesday. So, round up the kids and head for Target.
POD 1. 2. 3. POD, the album Satellite, in store now.
A political protest is underway in the high seas off Australia. Activists left Sydney Harbour today preparing to intercept a boatload of nuclear waste passing through the Pacific Ocean. The shipment left Japan yesterday bound for England and will eventually pass through Australia's exclusive economic zone. The colourful demonstration was farewelled by Greenpeace protesters. A massive security operation in Northern Ireland ahead of the controversial Parade of Orange Men. More than 2,000 troops and police have been gearing up for the march, which is infamous for its violence and bitter clashes between the Orange Protestants and Catholic nationalists. Officials are hoping for a peaceful protest, but are taking no chances and have set up barricades in a bid to keep the two groups well away from each other. American fans of pop superstar Michael Jackson are threatening to spark a huge boycott of music giant Sony. It follows claims by Jackson that the industry has for decades taken advantage of black artists.
Their message was simple. Michael Jackson fans gathered to voice their displeasure at recording giant Sony during a protest outside the company's Manhattan offices. Earlier in Harlem, their pop star idol told a packed news conference that black musicians had been manipulated by record companies out to make a profit.
Throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice.
His claims backed by civil rights leader Reverend Al Sharpton.
We don't want the companies bigger than the artists. We want the people respected.
Jackson's latest album has achieved disappointing sales, and despite Sony reportedly spending $25 million promoting the CD, fans accuse the company of not doing enough. But some critics believe it's a sign of Jackson's waning appeal. The industry says companies take on enormous financial risks when they sign new talent. Sony couldn't be contacted for comment. Lou Hendricks, 10 News.
At least 8 people are now dead from a week of flooding in Texas, and forecasters say more is on the way. At least 5,000 people have been forced to flee their homes already, and creeks have turned into rivers fed by the runoff from the hill country around San Antonio. More houses are being carried away by the torrent almost every day, and the rivers are still rising. President Bush has declared 10 rain-sodden counties of Texas disaster areas and promised urgent federal aid. Losses in property and amenities is already being counted in the tens of millions of dollars. A young Australian is among a number of people injured during the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. 20-year-old Luke Versace and 3 other runners are in hospital after being gored when unusually big crowds slowed the run, increasing the danger to the runners.
Delirious and perhaps a little drunk, they gathered in their glorious red and white mass for the San Fermin Fiesta, 9 days of collective insanity that dates back to the 1500s.
But it was a bit crazy here, just like stuff being thrown, and then it was like a big mosh pit, and everybody going together and drinking, everybody drunk, and glass all over the floor. It was pretty crazy.
After this party, courage heightened by the fuel of choice, a handful of daring souls will join the stampede of 6 half-ton bulls, ducking and weaving through the winding cobbled lanes of Pamplona. Few people have died, but some still ponder the possibility.
I'm still deciding whether or not to run.
And for those who do, some advice.
Run like the wind.
And an insight into this hedonistic dalliance with death.
Maybe a test of courage or manhood.
Or maybe a reckless pursuit, and that's no bull. Lou Dimovich, 10 News.
It's the stuff we usually only see in the movies. High-tech gadgetry in cars driven by the likes of James Bond. But these days, it's Mum and the kids who have their eyes on more than just the road.
We are. Okay, we'll watch Harry Potter.
No, this is not a family outing to a movie theater. It is simply a ride in a car. This Ford sports utility vehicle is so well equipped, it feels like a home theater on wheels.
Well, all the kids want to ride with me now.
On the way home from the baseball practice, Jace and Justin can also watch their favorite TV shows, listen to music, or play video games. Today, it's adults who want all the toys. Car gadgets are so popular, it is hard to pick out a car of your dreams and be able to drive it off the lot. Car dealers can't keep the cars in stock.
We've had about 35 exit our doors in the last couple months.
This is BMW's latest sedan, and it is filled with toys. Some 700 features that can be controlled by buttons, switches, and voice commands.
North is communication, south is entertainment, navigation is to your east, the climate is to your left and to your west. This is the most technologically advanced vehicle in the world in its class.
To assist.
So advanced that salespeople say it takes up to 3 hours, and in some cases, an entire day, to explain all the features to their customers.
I'll be back with a look at the national weather picture shortly. Then Ryan Phelan joins us with Sports Tonight, and a big night ahead for Leighton Hewitt.
Yeah, that's right, Tracy. He's completed his final preparations ahead of tonight's Wimbledon final. We'll have that. Also, some surprise selections in the Australian Rugby League team, and the Broncos bucked the Dragons at ANZ Stadium.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by tomorrow's breakfast. Porridge with deliciously golden Goulburn Valley peaches. Made even quicker with Goulburn Valley's new fridge pack.
An early workout, brekkie on the run, and an unreliable bus driver. I'm Sarah Taylor, and this is my day. Ooh, the truth is out about Nicole and Russell's secret night together. Furious Rachel Hunter speaks out. Those raunchy pics with Robbie were a setup. Oh, and look at Tony Gregg's gorgeous miracle baby. And I love the new fashion pages. All those shoes and handbags. What a great day.
It's your day, a woman's day. Oftentimes we're lazy.
Discover Jack Johnson.
It seems to stand in my
musician,
way.
surfer, filmmaker.
'Cause no one
debut album, Brushfire Fairy Tales. Out now.
What's new is new Nile Plus Chesty Cough Medicine. Specially formulated with 2 powerful ingredients to break down phlegm and relieve nasal congestion. For fast relief, try the new Nile Plus range, only available at your pharmacy.
It's incredible. The most advanced shave is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Mac 3 easy error-free loading, easy open flow rinsing, and 3 blades that shave progressively closer in 1 easy stroke. Mac 3, the closer shave in fewer strokes with less irritation. It's the easiest way to the closest shave. Mac 3 from Gillette.
In the chill, chill, chill of the fridge door, Goulburn Valley's there. Just open the door and you come back for more. Goulburn Valley's there. Just
Tonight's weather is brought to you by tomorrow's breakfast. Made even easier with Goulburn Valley's new fridge pack.
Now for a look at the weather details. On the synoptic chart, that high is still hovering around the east coast as another approaches the southwest and cold fronts move along the south coast. Tomorrow should bring mostly cloudy conditions to Cairns, sunny in Townsville, Brisbane and Sydney. Fine in Canberra, showers for Melbourne, cloudy in Hobart, late showers around Adelaide, wet in Perth and mostly sunny in the top end and the centre. It's full steam ahead for one Victorian tourist icon celebrating its 40th birthday. Puffing Billy has delighted almost 7 million passengers since it opened as a tourist train in 1962. Hundreds turned out for this morning's special birthday journey, winding through the picturesque Dandenong Ranges. The steam train carried a record 250,000 passengers over the past year, proving it's certainly not running out of puff. And that's 10's Late News. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget our next national bulletin at 11:30 in the morning, but stick around now for all the action in sports tonight with Ryan Phelan. I'm Tracey Spicer. Good night.
Australia's favourite families are moving.
Oh my God.
To an all-new day.
It'll only destroy our harmony.
Harmony?
With all new episodes. Monday's the day for all new Simpsons.
I saw Marge kissing a far superior man.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, he's probably doing it right now.
Monday's the day for all new Raymond.
I think I got something here that's going to take care of Dad.
Are those the papers that haven't committed?
New Simpsons, new Raymond from 7:30 Monday on 10.
I should be taping this.
marry me?
Yes.
Ow!
Welcome to Sports Tonight. Coming up, we'll tell you who's in and who's not in the Australian Rugby League Test team and the final countdown at Wimbledon. As Leighton Hewitt winds up to meet finals first timer David Nalbandian, Serena Williams is soaking up her third Grand Slam title. The power plays at the championships are coming up. At the US Women's Open, Shani War is hanging on. The West Australian 3 shots back heading into the final round. Oh! The Tour de France is ready to roll, and Lance Armstrong has already shown he's once again the man to beat. Plus Sunday footy, 3 games today in the AFL and NRL.
Kamali bounces away from Campion and scores!
You're watching the late edition of Sports Tonight. Rugby League first, and the Australian Test team has just been announced. New South Wales captain Andrew Johns winning the battle for the captaincy over Queensland's Gordon Tallis. Here's the full team. Tamana Tahu winning 1 spot on the wing with Lottie Takiri, Sean Timmins and Chris McKenna the centre pairing. Scott Hill is at lock while Steve Simpson and Jason Riles complete their meteoric rise with Test jumpers. The shock selections on the reserves bench, Willie Mason and Brent Tate's surprise inclusions. Coach Chris Anderson happy with the balance of the squad, praising the selection of Bulldogs man Mountain Mason.
He is a bowler, yeah, but I think he's probably been the form second rower, straight front rower in the competition, and we just thought he added a lot of impetus off the bench for us.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I didn't really expect this. Bob Hagan gave me a ring about a couple of hours ago, said he's got some good news for me, and it was sort of in the back of my mind saying it might be the Test spot, but I wasn't quite sure, and then he said it and I was just over the moon.
The Kangaroos play Great Britain at Aussie Stadium on Friday night. It was the final chance to impress the Australian selectors this afternoon as round 17 came to a close. Plenty of players in the race as St George Illawarra headed north to face the Broncos.
St George Illawarra looking for their first ever win as a joint venture club in Queensland were out of luck early. The bounce from hell giving the Broncos opening points.
Has beaten Cooper. There's a chance for the Broncos, and Tate will make it to the line and score.
The Dragons instead counting on skill to get them on the board.
And making the break for St George is Lee Hookie. He's going all the way. Hookie puts it down.
Alan Langer at his best, calling the shots and producing the pass for the Broncos to hit straight back.
Gets it away, they'll score. Broncos in.
Down by 2, the visitors went to the air trying to regain the lead.
The number 3 is held up, is he not?
The video referee giving it the green light. Brisbane then conceding an offside penalty from the restart.
Oh, we've turned the clock back. It's 1978.
But surviving for some more Langer magic and back in front.
Myers has scored!
In a first half of tit-for-tat, Trent Barrett had the final say, showing his class for a 16-12 lead at the break.
On the inside, Smith is there!
As the second half began, the home side kept the try-duel going.
Calwell will make it!
Alan Langer finally breaking serve with back-to-back Broncos tries. And 2 became 3 in a row as the Dragons looked in trouble. Sean Berrigan hammering the final nail, scoring Brisbane's 4th straight.
Berrigan will score!
A late consolation try, but St George Illawarra still winless in Queensland.
Plenty of tries, 11 in total. The Broncos scoring 7 of them. 34-22 the final score, but Broncos coach Wayne Bennett was still left unsatisfied.
Oh, you get disappointed when you score 1, you let them score 1. Or they've made a few mistakes, didn't they? Help us a little bit. We need a bit of help. Up until half time, we did anyway.
We've got to learn to hang on to the ball, and that's I've said it before in after games that that's been our biggest downfall all year, and it proved to get that again today. So we've got to learn to hang on to the ball.
Just disappointing because we had them. I thought we had them on the ropes for 40 minutes and didn't go on with it.
At Aussie Stadium, the Canberra Raiders were ruffled by the in-form Roosters. The home side ran in 3 tries in just 16 minutes. Shannon Hegarty finishing off this raid. Teammate Anthony Minicello tore the Raiders to shreds with a great run before picking out a flying Craig Wing.
Just roll away and plant it between the posts.
The Roosters led 14-0 at half-time and Canberra hung off Hegarty in the second half as he scored a brilliant solo try. Hegarty with a hat-trick of tries as the Roosters thumped the Raiders 36-6. It was a triathlon between the Sharks and the Warriors, the lead chopping and changing in the first half. Motu Tony giving the Kiwis their biggest lead. But then the Sharks piled on 4 consecutive tries to take an 8-point lead into the break. Brett Kamali in everything.
Kamali bounces away from Campion and scores.
When the Warriors made it a 2-point ball game just minutes after half-time, it was shaping as a close one. But the Sharks, with their best side on the paddock this year, were too strong. The final score 36-24, the Warriors' first loss in Australia this season.
But we just let them get out of the blocks a little bit too fast. Fairly ordinary first half, really, football-wise, with so many points scored. I thought we did a job in the second half in defence, but they were too big and too tall and too motivated.
If we're going to be there at the end of the year, we want to be beating good sides. Up until today, we haven't been beating any good sides. Today, we beat a good side, so we've got to back that up with another good win.
To the table, and the Bulldogs still lead with 31 points. Yesterday's win over the Northern Eagles giving Steve Folkes' men 13 straight wins. The Broncos swap places with the Warriors after their result today. There's plenty of desperation at the bottom. Penrith, South and North Queensland all in contention for the dreaded wooden spoon. It was an extraordinary afternoon in the AFL today, one of the upsets of the season in Brisbane, the Kangaroos keeping their finals hopes alive. But we start in Adelaide, where the Magpies needed only a half to blow away the Crows.
It was the biggest crowd Football Park had seen. The Adelaide faithful turning out in their droves for the Crows' biggest test. But like they've done all year, the young Magpies weren't intimidated.
Kick free last week, gets one early here.
Kicking with a strong breeze, the visitors were in a brutal mood. Their midfield on top, their lead 14 at the first break. But with their use of the wind, the Crows started their charge. Doherty kicking truly, as did Andrew McLeod with pinpoint accuracy.
And look at that kick. It is an absolute beauty.
Goals into the breeze would be like gold for the black and white, but within minutes they had 3.
Josh Fraser kicks his first.
The bumper Crow crowd silenced as Collingwood inflicted more and more pain.
Magically on kicks Collingwood 6th in a row.
The margin soaring, the Magpie lead out to a whopping 54 points.
They're awesome.
A 9-goal term had the Magpie fans delirious. And while the Crows started the second half with the first 2 goals, the Pies were red hot, everything falling into place.
50, long kick at goal. 3 goals to Davis. They're unstoppable.
The margin out to 11 goals as the afternoon turned into a nightmare for Adelaide.
This is bread and butter for Buckley. Captain has put it through.
To add to their woes, Andrew McLeod straining a groin. But the Crows weren't done with yet. With the breeze at their back, they slammed on 5 goals. The margin closed to under 3, and the most unlikely win looked possible. But Scott Burns sealed the result. The Magpie juggernaut rolling on.
It's over.
An amazing game and an amazing final term. The Crows kicking 8 goals in the last, but the damage had already been done. The Pies consolidate their place in the top 3 with the 22-point win, but Mick Malthouse was still far from happy with the fade-out.
I don't really have to tell them what took place today. I reckon that when they came in, they were forced into song for the club song by themselves. There wasn't a great joy in the way the game panned out. It's our first time over 20 goals this year, but we've allowed 17 through.
We've now put ourselves firmly back in the pack with everybody else competing for a spot in the bottom 4 of the 8, and really the pressure that we've borne on ourselves now has pretty much been ourselves.
Today, one of the upsets of the season, with Melbourne handing the Lions their first loss at the Gabba for more than a year. It may have been Melbourne's home game, but the Lions should have wrapped it up by quarter time after kicking 8 goals to 2. The Queensland heat a factor, but the visitors would not be denied, full of running to narrow the gap.
The goal, does kick the goal. Melbourne are back in business.
The Demons kicking miracle goals sustained the contest and got as close as 3 points in the third term. Then in the final quarter, the unthinkable unfolded through Adamuze.
It looks good. Melbourne are in front.
The Demons upsetting the Premiers in their own stronghold by 21 points. Port Adelaide now clear on top of the ladder. Melbourne ecstatic with the victory.
Oh, it was a very special win, obviously coming 6 goals to the zip early in the game. Really proud of the way the boys stuck at their task. You know, it's very difficult up here.
The old midfield run, I mean, that's the whole team. They just ran the ball off half-back and tended to run hard into space. We didn't seem to have the legs to be able to match that.
At Colonial Stadium, St Kilda were quick out of the blocks against the Kangaroos. Stephen Mill again in the thick of the action, kicking 3 of his 5 goals in the second term, as the Saints took a 13-point lead into the main break. The game was turned on its head in the third quarter, the Kangas ramming home 7 unanswered goals to start the term. Big man Drew Petrie a surprise packet with 3 goals. Lee Harding, another of the Roos forwards, to trouble the Saints.
Lee Harding kicks his third.
The final margin, 44 points. The Roos back in finals calculations, cruising to their 7th win of the season.
Had a chance to regroup at half-time and think about a few things, going 2 goals down, and our guys halfway through the quarter placed a stronger attack on the ball. We started to get numbers behind the ball and congestion crowd that space that was so open in the first quarter and a half.
The third quarter was the most disappointing aspect. Not to be able to wipe the slate clean and actually start off from scratch again and go out and do the job. And, you know, we weren't anywhere near tough enough or hard enough after half-time.
Well, they're calling it the game of the season, a classic at Colonial Stadium last night between the Bulldogs and Essendon. Scores tied 118 apiece. Bomber stars James Hird and Matthew Lloyd surviving the most remarkable of comebacks unscathed.
With less than a minute to play, the Bulldogs held a 1-point lead. But of course, the incredible story of Matthew Lloyd's return had yet another twist.
It's a free kick! It's a free kick to Lloyd! And the siren's gone!
Terry Wallace had seen enough in the Bulldogs box. Essendon with the chance to win the game with a goal after the siren. The ball seemingly in no better pair of hands.
In he comes for goal number 6. He's missed it. We have a tie at Colonial.
Full marks the Western Bulldogs. They never gave up. They hit the lead and we never gave up. I thought we were terrific in the last 4 or 5 minutes. So.
Accuracy on the vital kick was the only thing missing from Lloyd's comeback game, in which he snagged 5 goals. The great full forward a force on his own, but even better when on the end of one of James Hird's 25 possessions.
Matthew Lloyd!
Nothing wrong with that hand.
Lloyd's hand making it through the game with a protective glove, no thanks to the efforts of Dogs defender Steve Pretiuk. Chris Grant soldiering on through ankle soreness that will see him face a fitness test during the week. For the Dons, ruckman Paul Salmon had x-rays after the game on a back injury and looks a long shot to make the trip to Perth next week. In the West last night, Stephen Coops provided one of the few highlights for the Dockers, who were blown away by Port Adelaide. 6 goals to Stewie Dew, helping them to an 84-point win, soured only by a crude challenge by Barnaby French on Trent Crowe.
To the ladder after 14 rounds, and after Brisbane's shock loss today, the Power is a game clear on top. Collingwood cementing their place in 3rd, the Bombers in 4th ahead of the Crows, who have lost 3 straight. The Eagles, Cats and Demons round out the 8. Now over the page, the Roos are up to 9th after their win. Then it's Hawthorn, the Bulldogs and Fremantle, and you can just about forget about the rest. After the break, a full report on Wimbledon. He's the first man in the modern era to go straight to the Wimbledon final in his first attempt. And 20-year-old David Nalbandian stopped Leighton Hewitt from becoming the first Aussie in 15 years to win the title. And what about Shani War? Can she keep the Aussie streak alive at the US Women's Open?
Over this ridge. Oh! That's a good pace. I guess so. That was fast as well.
Every rock star needs a limo, right?
I hate these stretch jokes. Pimpmobiles.
The family that everyone wants to watch. The Osbournes at 9:30. Then, has your favourite yellow fellow become a mellow fellow?
Oh, no, you're doing drugs.
A special all-new adults-only episode.
This stuff can make anything funny, even that show that follows Friends.
An all-new Simpsons following the Osbournes Monday on 10.
Escape to New Zealand now for a winter escape and slide into great food, shopping and relaxation. Packages start from $857. Call Ski Max Qantas now on 9267 1655.
Stay on snow at Perisher Blue. 5-day packages start from $760, including meals and skiing. Phone 1300 655 8114.
Perisher Blue. Now that's the place to stay.
Ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
Lloyd takes a mark. He goes around, plays on the line. He's unstoppable.
They're absolutely flogging me. Little secret sauce. Bananas, mate. They're a great source of energy and can really improve your performance. And at the moment, they're fantastic value.
I had triumphs and disasters here. With players I was lucky to know. But one thing was never discussed: erection problems. If men suffered, they suffered in silence. Not anymore, because millions of men have gotten help. That's 100 times that people hear.
Talk to your doctor. I would.
For tissue long on value and long famous for extra softness, the very, very smart choice is Purex. Purex, strong on softness.
It's the battle of the young guns tonight when Leighton Hewitt plays 20-year-old David Nalbandian in the Wimbledon final. It's the youngest final pairing in the Open era. In the women's, new world number 1 Serena Williams added the grass court title to her recent French Open crown, again defeating older sister Venus. Argentine rookie Nalbandian was finally too good for Belgian Xavier Malisse in their delayed semi-final.
Australia's Leighton Hewitt on the verge of carving himself deep into tennis history. The youngest ever world number 1, tonight looking to cap off a phenomenal past year. Training and then watching the unfinished semi-final in the change rooms. One deciding set and Xavier Malisse broke David Nalbandian's serve, but the Argentine struck back and was menacing, winning the next 5 straight games and sealing himself an unthinkable Grand Slam final berth. The 20-year-old in his first ever senior grass court event, 1 win away from pulling off one of Wimbledon's greatest ever stories.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Maybe I'm never going to play another final again. I hope play much more semi-finals in the future, but for me right now it's very important moment. I'm very, very happy.
In the women's final, Serena Williams entered the match knowing on Monday she would be ranked the world's best, and she played like it, winning the match in straight sets and denying sister Venus a 3rd straight Wimbledon crown, Serena's 3rd Grand Slam trophy and 15th career title.
In the beginning of the year, I said, you know, I don't care what happens this year, I want to win Wimbledon.
Other Aussies appearing in the finals, 18-year-old New South Welshman Todd Reid into tonight's boys' final, and Todd Woodbridge teaming up with Jonas Bjorkman in the men's doubles final.
And the men's final has just started. Leighton Hewitt breaking David Nalbandian's serve in the first game of the match. He now leads 2-love in the first set. Go Leighton. To golf, and the number 1 female player in the world continues to have the wood and the iron and the putter over the rest of the field. Annika Sorenstam has a 2-shot lead after 3 rounds of the US Open.
There were no chinks in Sorenstam's armour. This brilliant bunker shot setting up birdie at 7.
Played it nicely, utilised the slope to the left of the hole.
Playing partner Australia's Shani War refused to be upstaged. At the same hole, finding the par 5 in 2.
It'll just scoot by the rough. There it does. Runs up into the middle of the green. It'll stay just short of that little ridge.
And then draining the eagle putt to move within one shot of Sorenstam.
Very quick coming over this ridge. Oh!
That's a good pace.
America's Michelle Redmond providing the highlight of the day with a 5-iron from 150 yards.
It went right in.
New Zealander Lynette Brookie moved up the leaderboard with a 1 under 69, showing nice touch at 17.
Almost in the hole.
Jill McGill shares second place with fellow American Julie Inkster after she too fired a 1 under par round.
Good looking.
That's well done there.
But the woman they all have to catch is Annika Sorenstam, the Swede ice cool on the way to her second consecutive 69.
She ran it perfectly. Sorenstam to 2 under par and takes the lead.
Sorenstam will start a firm favourite on the final day with Shani War the best placed Aussie, 3 shots behind in 4th place. And just a reminder, you can catch the final round live on Channel 10 starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Nearly 2,000 runners hit the pavement in perfect conditions for the Gold Coast Marathon this morning. A breakaway of 8 runners was whittled to 5 by the halfway mark. Dual Olympian Rod de Hayden pulling away in the closing stages to win in a time of 2 hours 15 minutes, just outside the time needed to qualify for next year's World Championships.
Going back to the drawing board and just trying to get fitter and stronger and just concentrate not getting injured.
The women's race was won by Japan's Saori Kawai in 2 hours 37.
If it's on wheels, it's on sports tonight. Next, the British F1 Grand Prix, NASCARs, and the prologue to the Tour de France.
Standing in line to see the show tonight, and there's a light on, heavy glow. Yeah, you know when you've been defeated, feeling low, you will always need it. Well, are you having fun? Well, are you still having fun?
The Panel, 9:30 Wednesday.
Right now at Red Rooster, $3.95 gets you a great deal every day. Monday, a crispy fillet burger and chips. Tuesday, chicken chips and gravy. And Wednesday, a flavour and chips. $3.95 everyday deals, but only at Red Rooster.
It's incredible. The most advanced shave is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Mach 3 easy error-free loading, easy open flow rinsing, and 3 blades that shave progressively closer in 1 easy stroke. Mach 3. The closer shave in fewer strokes with less irritation. It's the easiest way to the closest shave. Mach 3 from Gillette.
One man will blow you away.
Sorry. One touch on that red button could destroy the whole world.
That is very interesting you say that because...
Ali G in the house. In cinemas July 18.
One morning, Jack's mother said, "Go to the market, lad, and sell that cow." On the way, he met a funny little man who offered him some magic beans in exchange for your cow. So Jack took the beans and happily ran home, but Mother was not amused and tossed the beans out the window. The next day, Jack witnessed the most amazing sight. Soy life. Live healthily ever after.
New Optus Business Edge gives you the advantage with off-peak mobile rates during business hours when you need them most. Just 10 cents for 30 seconds. To switch to Optus Business Edge.
Right now at Red Rooster, $3.95 gets you a great deal every day. Monday, a crispy fillet burger and chips. Tuesday, chicken chips and gravy. And Wednesday, a flavour and chips. $3.95 everyday deals, but only at Red Rooster.
Coming to the middle.
3-time Tour de France champion Lance Armstrong will wear the yellow jersey for tonight's opening stage. The American took out the 7-kilometre prologue in a time of 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Australia's Bradley McGee finished 11th. Meanwhile, band rider Jan Ullrich has admitted to taking amphetamine pills at a social event. Ullrich's team Telecom have stuck by the former champion, claiming the drugs were recreational, not performance-enhancing. Now here's something you've heard before. Juan Pablo Montoya will start from pole position for tonight's British Formula One Grand Prix. It's the 4th straight race the Williams driver will begin on the front row, courtesy of a flying final lap in qualifying.
Right at the end, seemed to get it. We did a few changes. We're doing like 3 changes at a time, and just the balance was good.
Ferrari's Rubens Barrichello qualified 2nd. Teammate Michael Schumacher will start alongside brother Ralph on the 2nd row of the grid. Aussie Mark Webber giving them all a start from 20th position. Australia's Robert Allenby heads into the final round of the Western Open with a 2-stroke lead after firing a 3rd round 7-under par 65. The 2000s champion's nearest rival is Neil Lancaster, while overnight leader John Cook fell back to 5th place despite this on the 12th. Allenby is currently 47th on the US PGA money list with nearly $1.5 million in prize money. He also turns 31 this week.
The cards say I have a choice, and I choose Nathan.
Maybe we should see less of each other.
The Secret Life of Us, 8:30 Monday on 10.
Escape to New Zealand now for a winter escape and slide into great food, shopping and relaxation. Packages start from $857. Call Ski Max Qantas now on 9267 1655.
It's incredible. The most advanced shave is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Mach 3 easy error-free loading, easy open flow rinsing, and 3 blades that shave progressively closer in 1 easy stroke. Mach 3, the closer shave in fewer strokes with less irritation. It's the easiest way to the closest shave. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Marge, the rains are here.
McCain Super Juicy Corn Cobbets, specially grown to be super juicy. So juicy, they're simply bursting with flavour. Ah, McCain, you've done it again.
Newsflash, Home Hardware are having a stock run-out sale.
Stock run-out sale?
Floor it, boss.
Go out!
Great deals like this GMC triple pack, top value at just $99.
And don't forget!
Philips Energy Saver Globes, $7.95, a real bargain.
Plus you'll find heaps more savings in our stock run-out dog-alongs. Home Hardware. Hurry, sail in soon.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Now you can watch all your favourite primetime programs with captions. If you have a Teletext TV, just press the text button, then 801. Call now for a free information pack.
Play of the daytime, and if you're sick of Sunday drivers, then spare a thought for this guy. NASCAR driver Tony Stewart was minding his own business during the latest round of the series of the Bush, but the former rookie was trapped in a bunch and in all sorts of trouble, and before he could do anything, his race was over, bumped right out of contention, spinning round and around and around, and eventually settling in the grass. So for copping an unwarranted shove, Tony Stewart gets our play of the day. Now, just before we leave you, an update in Leighton Hewitt's Wimbledon final against David Nalbandian. The Australian has a strong hold on the first set. He leads 4-love. So that's exciting news for Leighton. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for your company. I'm Ryan Phelan. Have a great week. See you soon.
Major sausage that is. Look at the state of it.
Nathan Buckley. Kathy Threeman. Nicole Kidman. Steve Irwin. Kylie Minogue. Mark Webber. Adam Gilchrist. My hero is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, Ian Thorpe. Patrick Rafter. Andrew Gaze. Sardine, sardine. My hero is John Matthews. What? Beg your pardon? Who?
Think. Yellow. See. Blue. Imagine.
Yellow.
Feel. Blue. Want.
Yellow.